of Harrod's. This is definitely the downstairs. This is the vast underbelly of the world's most famous store, a side that its customers never see. Storerooms packed to the rafters with a vast range of cheeses and butters. Harrod's own slogan to its customers is, "Enter a different world." Well, we're going to show you an even more different world.
In around London, tonight at 11:30.
Billingsgate Fish Market. 5:30 a.m. The signal that porters can now start unloading the fish. Buyers can begin placing their orders. This man is the market's biggest buyer. His name, Jim Lovegrove.
Yeah, that one.
He spends over £3,000 a day here, but then his is no ordinary fish shop.
Not this small section. Not this small section. Lovely, and the lobster. Lovely. Thanks, Terry. See you in the morning.
.00, and on the other side of town, the world's most famous store gets switched on for yet another day.
Mr. Nichols.
.00, and Harrod's is open for business. Harrod's, Europe's biggest department store. Harrod's, where they measure selling space in acres, not square feet. Harrod's, record holder for the most cash taken in one day by a department store, £5 million. You can bank with Harrod's, insure with Harrod's, and buy, sell or rent your home through Harrod's. Harrod's exports Persian rugs to Persia, bread rolls to New York, refrigerators to Finland, and its pets all over the world. World leaders are seen holding its carrier bags on official trips. Millions of others use them to impress their neighbours. And last year, its sales topped £170 million.
I think you travel a long, long way to find something better.
Oh, a very international store.
Well, it's the ultimate, I think, at providing you have the money at the time to spend there.
This means a lot. I'm here every day.
With Thames Television, we're doing a documentary on Harrod's. Why do you come to Harrod's?
I've come here for 30 years to do my household shopping.
Harrod's came up the hard way. Its beginnings were in Cable Street in the East End. There, in 1835, Henry Harrod and his wife Elizabeth, a pork butcher's daughter, set up a wholesale grocer's. By the time this film was taken in 1925, Harrod's was already well established as London's largest department store. It had been gradually expanding on its present site since 1849. Today, the outside looks much the same. The inside is a different world. Harrod's has 11 entrances. Once inside, the first-time visitor is strongly advised to stick to the trunk routes, which run east-west through the store. North-south crossings are only for the experienced. The visitor's first port of call is likely to be the food hall. Last year, it rang up sales of £17 million, 10% of the whole store's takings. By this time, the fruits of Mr. Lovegrove's dawn raid on Billingsgate have been elegantly laid out. The real eye-opener is Mr. Lovegrove's still life, composed from Billingsgate's more unusual offerings, and he's fashioned some fine masterpieces in his time.
I should think the most vivid displays I can remember are...
Massage, pedicure, manicure, and hairdo.
Ladies in the wear furs, others wear shoe boots, trans customers wear, they wear ladies wearing ladies' powder room. Ladies' powder room and all that lot.
It's the ground floor, is it?
No, what do you think this is, a Concord? I don't.
Yes, the ground floor.
No.
Joe Brown used to manage pubs, but he had other talents which suited him more for this job. He claims to have a voice like Jim Reeves and a poet's way with words.
Of silverware, pewterware, photography, chemistry, perfume, and a hell of a lot more. That is the ground floor. Stairways to freedom.
Down here is the gateway to a maze of tunnels, running the length and breadth of the store. Down here also, directions are refreshingly simple. The wine cellar holds over 250,000 bottles. Follow the signs and you end up at huge cold storage rooms the size of living rooms, but at 30 degrees Fahrenheit, considerably colder. This is the food hall's vast underbelly. The storerooms turn over their stock of hams and cheeses each week. In the fortnight before Christmas, these storerooms work overtime to satisfy the food hall's voracious appetite. 50 tons of fresh beef, 36 tons of whole hams, 17 tons of fresh turkeys, and 11 tons of Stilton. Not to mention scores of lambs, pigs, and chickens.
An arrangement of flowers. What price?
Harrods used to run a 24-hour telephone ordering service, but shopping habits changed. And 10 years ago, the 2 male telephonists were replaced by answering machines. 2 because a customer once used up a whole tape snoring, having gone to sleep giving her order. Orders are sent to the relevant department via the tube exchange room in the basement. It sounds a bit like Clapham Junction in the age of steam. 600 tubes hiss in and out of here every day along Harrods' 3 miles of tubing. Once orders are made up, they're sent to the dispatch area by trolleys, skips, and conveyor belt. In the dispatch ring, they handle anything up to 850 orders a week, sorting them into the various rounds for delivery anywhere within a 35-mile radius of London. Some of the names of the destinations read like an A to Z of a bygone era. Belgravia, as you'd expect, gets a daily delivery. Each day, every van makes 1 round with maybe 50 drops. Even though they don't stray outside a 35-mile radius, the vans together clock up a total of 750,000 miles a year. The vans are based at Harrods Warehouse in Trevor Square, which is linked to the main store via a tunnel running for 75 yards all the way under the Brompton Road. Some of Harrods' transport has been left behind by the times. The van in front was built in 1939. It's battery operated, has a top speed of 20 miles an hour, and is still used for less urgent errands. Bringing up the rear is an American 1919 model with a top speed of 12 miles an hour. Rodney is Harrods' slowest but surest form of transport. He runs errands for the store's managers. He also delivers things for the royal family, including the Queen Mother's library books twice a week. The Queen Mother is one of a dwindling number of subscribers to this famous library, now decimated by TV and the paperback. It used to have over 30,000 subscribers. Now it's only got 2,500.
Right, going on this time. Second floor, radio, television, studio, kitchenware, gardenware, china glass, linen sheets, blanket, books, carpets, paste, piano, fire stereo, table, records, refrigerator, and a hell of a lot more. Going up?
The pets department.
We're not able to give all the services that we gave in the past. But what we do try to do is make sure that our service generally is ahead of the field. And we think that's very, very important.
Going up. Beauty parlour, hairstyling, banks, Russian cashier, sportswear, travel export, away, living estate agents, lady men's room, maps and French travel, groceries, libraries and medicine. Fourth floor.
1 o'clock. Time for lunch. Harrods has 5 restaurants and 4 bars, including its own pub, the Green Man. On the 4th floor is the Georgian restaurant, which seats 500, and Harrods claim is the largest waitress-served restaurant in the country. In the days of Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers, they used to hold tea dances here. They still have tea and a pianist, but no dancing. You can get a 3-course set lunch here for £8.50, including VAT. If you want something cheaper, or you're allergic to pianos, you can get a quiche, salad, gatto and coffee for about 1/3 of that price in one of the self-service restaurants. Harrods serves 15,000 meals a day. Just above the Georgian restaurant, still within earshot of the piano, is the staff's rooftop leisure area.
These machines are the front central lift motors. They're 1928. They work every single day, and as you can see, they're a beautiful machine. Huge bearings, lovely big gears, huge brakes, and they last ever so well. There's no problem whatsoever. We can't get any modern equivalent, anything like as good. I have a lot of old machinery, as you've probably seen around the store, some going back to 1904. Vacuum pumps, just no modern equivalent replacements. We have our own power station. We produce a lot of electricity with diesel engines and turbines. We don't waste any energy at all in Harrods. As a byproduct, we use the waste heat from the gas engines for steam, for cooking, for the tea boilers and coffee boilers. We pump our own water. We've got deep wells producing 100,000 gallons of water a day. Nothing's wasted in the place.
Well outside Mr. Bulcock's domain, and back on pavement level, a customer and her dog are taking advantage of a unique Harrods facility. At the bottom of door 3, which incidentally is the one used by the royal family, are some kennels. This is as far as dogs get in Harrods. Having been checked in, they're left to twiddle their paws while their owners do their shopping. One of the men in charge here is Michael Quinn. Michael used to fit the filaments in electric light bulbs for 25 years. Then he discovered Harrods.
Michael, is Charlie one of your regulars?
Yes, and I've got lots of regulars as well. Bilbo here is one of my regulars, and Monty and Julie and Daisy. And another one that comes regular is another Daisy. And then, of course, I got Digby every Thursday. They come from Kent, the lady comes to hairdressing. And Digby is so used to coming here, she lets it off the leader, number 3 stairs and down, runs in.
Do they behave themselves when they're...
Yes, very much. They never do any, naughty or anything. They're very well trained and, I should imagine they're perfectly trained at home, Very good.
As you'd expect of pets that come to Harrods.
Yes. I think so. They're very nice.
Harrods' wine department has kept pace with our growing national thirst. When it was moved here 11 years ago, it was given 5 times more space. Few people say no to an invitation to the daily wine tasting.
I could taste the muscadet? Oh, thank you.
Yes, please.
That's muscadet. That's a nice dry white from the Loire.
The champagne fountain is a place to meet but not drink. The sparkle is provided by 50 gallons of aerated distilled water. The bottles are empty. The brandy is not as expensive as it looks. The decanter alone costs £200, and some customers buy 5 bottles at a time. But next door, you'll find the most expensive item in the store. This double-row diamond and sapphire necklace could be yours for around £250,000, and the whole display for £500,000.
Going down. Going down, no, never. Take a chance.
Well, yet another day draws to a close at Harrods. Some 30,000 people will have been in and out of its doors. 1,500 pounds of bacon will have been sold, 1,000 croissants, 1,000 gulls' eggs, 700 punnets of strawberries, 600 brown loaves, and 500 gallons of wine. Mr. Bullcock's machines will have pushed out 50,000 units of electricity, 100,000 gallons of water. His 60 lifts will have travelled 200 miles between them. In the pet department, Rita Strata no doubt will have received the odd order for an elephant or a giraffe. Outside number 7 door, Mr. Hudson will have got another tale to tell his grandchildren. The telephone exchange will have received 10,000 incoming calls. 500 tubes would have hissed in and out of all the tube lines, bearing personal memos. And that record of 32 cakes eaten at one sitting, well, that remains intact for another day. And at the end of it all, Harrods Tills will have rung up sales to the very pleasant tune of £500,000. And so, through a maze of underground passages, 4,000 staff come back to Earth, their different world over for another day.
Good night, John. See you. Good night, Paul. Good night, John.
This is Harrods recording service for messages and food orders. Orders recorded will be sent by the next available delivery van. Please give your name, address, account number and telephone number. Please speak after the tone.